what is the ego, what's the mind, what's spirit, what is nafs. We are going to go through this very, very easily in this video, and everyone is going to be able to understand. Basic alchemy. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. So, we all know what this is, right? This is ice. Everyone knows what this is. This is water. Everyone can see what this is. It's water that has been heated up, which is steam. So you have ice, water, steam. Ice, water, steam. Now, it's the same water, isn't it? We are dealing with the same water all the time. And this is, the water is your mind, okay? Mind, mind, mind. All is mind. So when you use words like spirit, nafs and ruh in Arabic, ka and ba in ancient Egyptian mysticism, Atman, Brahman, or whatever you want to say, higher self, lower self, ego, etc. You're all dealing with your mind. It's all the same mind. It's not different entities. So the nafs and ruh is not ultimately different entities, because this is water that has higher vibration, steam. Now this is water that has medium vibration, and this, the ice cube, that's the ego. That's water when it has low vibration. So in the ego state of mind, this is when there are no spiritual practices, there's no heat, so the mind becomes very crystallized, like an ice cube. It becomes stubborn, it knows better, it sees itself as unique. Look at this shape. Unique, solid, separate from everything else. Now these are the people of the form. Because as you can see, an ice cube has a form. So people who are in this state of nafs, like nafs amara, ego, lower self, they argue all the time, they think they are right, and they are very solid, and they are very exoteric. They only focus on the form. They are the form-based people of the deen. As you introduce heat to this ice cube, it starts melting. As we can see, it has already started melting because of the heat of my hand. The heat represents the spiritual practice. So you can transform ice to water just by introducing heat. And when you introduce even more heat to the water, it becomes steam. So the more heat you introduce to the water, the more it becomes like steam. And steam is more broad, it takes more place. This is how your mind works. The more you do spiritual practices to your mind, it becomes steam, it becomes spirit, ruh. It becomes broad and expansive. Your consciousness expands. Ice, ego, is the most narrow and smallest kind of consciousness. Water is more liquid, it's more flexible, it's more tolerant, it's more patient, it's more harmonizing. But steam, the spirit, the ruh, it's grand, it's all over the place, it can move and so on. This is what happens with your mind when you do spiritual practices. The heat comes from the zikr. So the heat that this is heated with is the zikr. That is the mantra, the chant that loosens up your mind, the spiritual practices. So if you want to transform yourself, you have to do the same as in nature. You have to introduce heat to your mind. You have to introduce higher vibration, higher chants. You have to chant holy words, chant holy zikrs, qasids, salat ala nabi, and warm up the spirit. You know, you can even go to the masjid and see who are doing zikr and their salat and who are not doing that. Who are doing spiritual practices and who are not. The people in the mosque who do spiritual practices, they usually sit, they are very humble, they say, oh, Assalamu alaikum brother, Assalamu alaikum brother, oh mashallah brother. Those are the people who do their salat. The people who don't do their salat, they don't do their spiritual practices. They are like this ice cube. They come in stubborn, sitting there, looking at everyone. They feel that they are better, they are smarter, they are cooler. Ego. And then you have the few people, if you have a Sufi sheikh in the mosque, a mystic who sit there, who are in spirit form, they might sit completely silently and be completely in a meditative state. You think they are not there, but in reality their mind is all over. So this is ego, mind, spirit is all mind. All of it is mind. Spirit is mind. It's just different levels of consciousness. It's different levels of vibration. This is it. Religion and spirituality, you do understand, it's the same thing. It's just at different levels of vibration. So your religion becomes more spiritual when it vibrates quicker. But when you don't do your spiritual practices, you become like the ice cube, the ego, the nafs al-amara, nafs lawama, the arguing, you are not the Muslim, you are not the Muslim, oh, you should put it on here, and everything is about proof. Where is Quran and Hadith? That's all ice cube. Stubbornness. When you do spiritual practices, you do your salat ala nabi, you do your salat, you do your zakat, you become more, mashallah brother, let's all be friends and let's be united. You become softer, more flexible, like the water is. You do even more, you become steam, then it's all one. All is one. You lose your job, you say alhamdulillah. Everything is alhamdulillah, all is from Allah. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. La ilaha illallah. You become ground like this, so you can expand your mind with spiritual practices. This is alchemy. Classical alchemy. And the alchemist knows that awal wa akhir wa zahir wa batin, as within, so without. As above, so below. So everything you see in nature, you're just seeing yourself. You understand? So the water that you see in nature is just a reflection of your mind. So how water works in nature, in the outer, is how your mind works in the inner. So everything teaches you about you. And the alchemist knows that there's only one thing that you really can transform. Turning base metal into gold. That's the alchemy of the people of the ice cube, the ego, who are looking for material wealth. They are in the material world. But the real alchemists know that there's only one thing you can transform, and that is your mind. Your nafs, your state of consciousness. And the heaven or hell, it all depends on the nafs, the state of consciousness. Hopefully this is clear. Assalamu alaikum.